You're now experiencing the Gretna Bill Show.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Gretna Bill Show, a podcast about cycling culture and community locally here in Mount Gretna and in central Pennsylvania and the world, combating disinformation wherever we find it.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Gretna Bill Show. And today on our guests we have at the very end over there John Wengert, LVRT. We have Lauri Crawford, Lebanon Valley Conservancy, and we have Nicole Maurer, Community Health Council. And today we want to talk about the Tower to Town Run, which is 10 miles, and it is next Sunday, October 6th. It's the second annual Tower to Town Run. And so first of all, I just wanted to find out a little bit about your organization. So obviously, John, the LVRT, we had a great episode.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
It's great to be back. Back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, dude.
Back-to-back episodes.
You're awesome.
That was awesome. And then, okay, Lauri, Lebanon Valley Conservancy.
Yeah, the Conservancy is a small land trust protecting land in Lebanon County and in the valley. We also work on green space projects, which is how we're helping John with the park. We do some wildflower meadow pollinating areas in the city, and we also get involved with tree plantings.
So the pollinating thing, that involves bees, I take it?
We do, yeah. We're trying to change a lot of the turf from the city into meadow, native meadow, to bring in the bees and the butterflies and native birds.
And so you deal with invasive plants too, right?
We do sometimes. I mean, we counsel where we can, yes.
Great. Okay, Nikki, Community Health Council.
Community Health Council, yep. The Community Health Council has been around since 1994. It's a 501c3, and it's basically a stakeholder organization working to really make Lebanon County a healthier place to live. So we have all sorts of initiatives, Suicide Prevention Task Force, Mentor Mother, things like we do a lot of the Healthy Kids Day, Youth Only Fishing Day, 50 Plus Festival. We have initiatives for aging, and really a broad swath of healthy topics. But like Lauri, I'm really interested in built environment and how we actually make Lebanon County a healthier place to live, and that's how we got involved in the run, but also with some of the park projects.
That sounds great. So here we are on the Tower to Town 10 mile second annual, and you guys all collaborated to get this thing off the ground, and it's going to be a fun time. Being the second annual, how many guys did you have in the first run?
Well, we had 150 total last year.
And this year, how many expecting?
Well, we have 150 signed up so far.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we're really excited. Yeah, so we're hoping to break 200. I think it's going to be word of mouth certainly has helped this year, and hopefully people liked what happened last year, and so they're back.
So this run is going to benefit the John E. Wengert Memorial Park.
Yeah.
And who's that guy?
That's my dad, who was the first president of the Conservancy. He passed away in 2013, and shortly after that, some of the Conservancy board members decided that it might be a pretty cool thing to do some kind of park or preservation project in his memory. And so that's how the whole thing got started. Lauri's been working on it diligently for the past couple of years. We identified this site along Chestnut Street in Lebanon, across from Lebanon Catholic High School, as the preferred site for what is going to be Lebanon County's first pocket park. So it's called a pocket park. It's kind of a unique concept. It's not a huge park. Not sure what the total acreage of the site is. Probably like less than 2 acres. But the cool thing about this site is that the rail trail, which I'm pretty involved in, is going to run right through the middle of it. So this park will basically surround that section of land. If you're familiar with it, if you're standing at Lebanon Catholic High School looking towards Cumberland Street, it's in a low-lying area, and it's completely engulfed with these invasive trees and weeds that we were just talking about a second ago. So it's going to be a huge transformation, going from the poster child invasive site to like a really cool passive recreation site. It's not going to have ball fields in it or that type of recreation. It's going to be rail trail kind of serpentining through it, which you can see on this depiction here. So the rail trail would be the dark blue trail running serpentine through the park, and then we envision all sorts of park amenities on either side of the rail trail as you make your way down through this park. the rail trail continue across the rest of town over towards the mall. It actually enters this park at Chestnut Street, just west of 12th and Chestnut, and exits back onto Chestnut at the other end. And then we'll continue. Our Phase 6 project for the rail trail will actually continue all the way over to the mall. But we picture pretty cool amenities, still actually kicking around what we want to have inside the park. The master plan's not entirely completed. We need to tweak it and determine what we want to have in there for people to check out. I was just up in New York City a couple weeks ago and got some more ideas. There's a really cool similar type park along the Hudson River on the lower west side that has some really cool features in it that I was taking pictures of when I was there, like giant chess sets, and actually had a racquetball court, outdoor racquetball court in there. They had ping pong tables made out of concrete, that you don't have to move, they survive the seasons. Just a lot of really cool stuff that we could put in here. And, once we have the base of the park complete, the sky's the limit when it comes to the amenities. I think we have all kinds of people that want to donate amenities.
So what's involved in putting a park together like this? Obviously, it takes a collaboration, and obviously, Tower to Town events to help finance it, to raise some money for it. But all of you folks, how do you get involved in building a park? I mean, I wouldn't know how to begin, I guess.
Well, first, the land is owned by the city and by the county. So we're working both with the county and the city to establish an easement to use the space. We've been talking about some invasive management since there is so much tree of heaven and the risk of lanternfly in Lebanon County. We've been exploring our options for eradicating that, preparing the site. And then John will work on his funding to put in the actual rail trail.
Yeah, so
Do you want to look at this, John?
we're actually going to be building, you can spin that around. This is part of a larger rail trail project effort, but when we do Phase 6 of the trail through the park, we're going to try to do as much as the site preparation as we can in preparation for the park development. So we're going to do the stormwater, we're going to do a trailhead there right off of Chestnut Street that'll be dual use, so it'll be for the trail and also the park. So we're trying to get as much as that included in our rail trail effort, which is pretty far along. We're in final design of that Phase 6. And then what we'll do is we'll follow that up with a DCNR grant. We plan on applying for a park development grant to DCNR in April 2020 to do the rest of the park development. To get there, you have to have a really good plan. So, we hired a landscape architect that's done this work that you see here, and we'll continue to work with them. Ann Yost from York County is a really, really renowned park planner in the state. We'll work with her to fine-tune her design that becomes the grant application for DCNR. So basically the part that is key for what Lauri's doing is in this event is raising the money to pay for the professional services that we need to prepare the grant. So that's kind of how it works.
Cool.
Yeah, something that I think is really interesting. When I first got into sort of community health and working towards green spaces and things like this, I always think when you go to a cool park, you never think about how it got there or how long it took to get there.
For sure.
And so this will be when it's done, it's going to be a city-county park.
Yep.
Right? But layers upon layers upon layers of funding. So one of the things when Lauri and I first met, actually, because this is the first project that we ever worked on together, I knew nothing about matching funds. So a lot of these big grants that you can get, you first have to prove with your community that the community wants the project. Because DCNR is not going to put money towards something that the community hasn't proven that they want. So part of doing community fundraising, whether it's through a race or through any type of event that you have, or even maybe donations or whatever, is to raise those matching funds so that you can go back to your big funders, PennDOT, DCNR, DCED, and say, hey, our community has proven that we want this. But it's, 6 years and 18 different funders, and so it's really exciting.
So part of the Tower to Town and the benefit is not so significant that it's only 150 or 200 riders, but more importantly, it demonstrates that the community is behind this and we want this to happen. And so it's more significant in that regard than the actual funding that you're going to raise from it. So if I want to, first of all, where's the race going to start at?
Well, it starts at Governor Dick, which is a local favorite, and we're really excited about that. And then it finishes at Optimist Park. But eventually, we'd like for it to finish at the Johnny Wengert Memorial Park.
Right, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool, right? So it's about, what, 10 miles?
It is 10 miles.
And what would you, it's rain or shine event, correct?
Yes.
It is. It's only
We'll be out there in our slickers.
Only shine going on.
Only shine.
So who would you say this run is geared for? What types of runners are you expecting?
Me?
Don't look at me. If you had to guess which one is going to have the best opinion about
Well,
running,
you know,
it's at that end.
last year we thought, we weren't sure if we were going to get trail
Last year,
runners,
in the middle.
if we were going to get people who are used to running through the woods, or if we were going to get, road runners. So it was kind of neat to see who came, and I think what we liked about it was something different, right? There are races where they run on the road, and other races where they run through the woods, and ours kind of marries both of those. Plus, we're also taking people from the forest, we're giving them a good challenge, and then we're taking them down into the city. Ideally, they stay for the weekend. Ideally, they visit the amazing places to eat and stay in Lebanon County. Every time we do one of these events, we say, how long can we keep them in the county?
Yeah.
And when can we get them back? When can we get them back to get outside and get healthy?
And we're both keenly aware of that with the Tour de Gretna and the Tour of Lebanon County,
Yes,
which are coming up next year. We're excited about that. So I leave from the tower, not me particularly, but you leave from the tower.
No, you have to get up to the tower.
You have to run up first.
You have to get up to the tower.
Where do you start it then?
At the Nature Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So everybody knows where the Nature Center is.
Yeah.
It's off of Pinch
Pinch,
Road,
yep.
and then you start there. You run on single track, double track,
Double
kind of
track.
rocky, up to the Governor Dick Tower. Then you come back down.
Yep.
And then where do you go from there?
Actually, we take, for those of you who are familiar with Gretna, we take Trail 5 out to Old 72, but you stay on the Governor Dick property. It's about 3.5 miles on the Governor Dick property. I do have to say we did we try as hard as we can to keep it a little bit less technical because it is 6 miles on the rail trail, and I don't want it to be, we never wanted it to be prohibitive to the road runners or people who are training for marathons or half marathons. We don't want anybody to get hurt before their big marathon in November or something like that.
Running on Macadam might do that.
Well, or, somebody who's not used to running in the woods and then they think, oh, I want to do this 10 miler, and then we throw them on something like Trail 15, which,
And they stumble.
So we try to keep it, we've tried to keep it sort of the more gentle of the Governor Dick trails, but we do stay on Governor Dick property for 3.2 miles.
And then you go down across 117
right at
and you get on
line,
you get on the right over Old 72
Yep.
and across over 117, and then you get on the rail trail.
Can we get that mode?
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yep.
Yes.
So when you get on the rail trail, then what happens?
Then you just go straight down the rail trail to pretty much to the city. If you are running a relay, so you can run a 2-person relay, you exchange at the Root Beer Barrel.
Oh wow! So there is 2-person relays.
Yeah, 2-person relay.
And it could be co-ed.
Oh yeah, yep.
Mother, daughter, father, son, whatever.
Whatever you want.
So that's pretty cool. That's
John.
Yeah. Now you guys are in.
Henry.
You got 5 in your engine.
Probably did Root Beer Barrel to 11. What time is this then?
It's downhill.
It's all downhill.
We have lights.
Time to pack everything
Nikki
up?
made it downhill.
So Sunday morning, what time are we getting started?
9:30.
So like if you were running a 2-person relay team, what times are you expecting the people to show up at the Root Beer Barrel for the second leg of the relay?
Probably, well, it really depends on the team. I
Yeah.
mean, probably 30 minutes, 40 minutes, so 9, 10, 10. But I have to say that our solo runners, a lot of our solo runners beat our top relay team. So
Wow. So what were some of the times that you got on the relays and some of the better times that you got on the solo?
Well, this is kind of a funny story because our timing company showed up and they have to go from the start of the race to to the end of the race
Before everybody
gets there. And I was like, oh, no problem. And then I ran into who would be the winner of last year's race. I said, oh, hey, I didn't know you were coming. Thanks for coming. Hey, how long do you think this is going to take you? And this is the morning of the race. He said, oh, I don't know, about an hour.
So they packed up quick, and he did. He was 102.
Yeah, Daryl
Quota.
Weaver, 102.
Daryl Weaver.
Yeah, you guys know, you might know Daryl Weaver.
Oh, we know
He's
Daryl
great.
Weaver.
Yeah.
He's a machine.
And he's so modest, so I had to believe him when he said that. I was like, and our
shout out to Daryl, man. He's a machine for sure.
So our top female was Courtney Hershey last year, and she ran it in 1:16. And our top relay, I should know the answer to that because it was Scott Gray and Nate Boyer.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know their time, but I think it was between Courtney Hershey and Daryl Weaver's time.
So how do I register for this?
You can register on RunReg or on towertotownrace.com.
That's really great. Love to hear that. And it's donation. And roughly what are the entry donations?
Well, the current, it's at $50 for a solo runner now, and if you had you sign up a week ago, it was $40. And two-person relay is $40 each. Or, yeah. Yep.
You know, yeah, I'm psyched for this. I'm going to definitely come out and watch for sure.
Yeah, bring cowbell.
All right, yeah, that'll be good. You know, the other thing we were talking about on the bus ride back from the third site of the dedication for the rail trail last week was we talked about Lebanon, tour of Lebanon County coming up next, probably June.
Yep.
And of course, we're going to do the tour to Gretna again, probably end of April or the first weekend in May. And we talked about promoting them both simultaneously. And so do you think that's feasible? I'm really jazzed about that idea. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that's good about that, as Todd and I were talking about earlier, so you get a certain group of people that do the tour of Lebanon County that aren't necessarily racers, although there were a lot there. And then you get Tour de Gretna, which is mostly racers, but then we also have categories for like first timers. You can buy a USA cycling license there at the race or online. And so we were hoping that we could get some cross-pollination. People that don't normally race might try it out, and that people that don't normally go to the Tour of Lebanon County, because it's not necessarily a race, they would do that as well. And the nice thing about that is that that it's very inclusive about everybody. And, you know, I'm mentioning it now so you can kind of put those kind of rough dates on your calendar to try to do both of those. Because you know how next year starts in January and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I gotta do this, gotta do that. So we're saying it right ahead of time. Please try to get those two dates and please try to attend both events and mark those off in your calendar. Those are gonna be great events and more to come on that. So you got anything, John, Lauri, Nikki, before we end this?
I just want to thank these guys for all their work on it.
For sure, man.
It's just, you know, it takes a lot of organization and a lot of legwork to pull something like this off, and we're fortunate that there's people like this willing to do it, so we really appreciate it.
Yeah. I'd like to thank the community. You know, we've had some awesome sponsors for the event year to year, and so we appreciate our sponsors for sure. County commissioners gave us a hotel tax grant so we could promote Lebanon County and its wonderful resources, so we had that opportunity. And then our volunteers, we've had some cool Girls on the Run come in to help out. We've had some bikers coming out.
Lots of Mount Gretna mountain bikers.
Lots of mountain bikers from Mount Gretna coming to volunteer. So, you know, it makes us really happy that the community kind of comes together to put these on. You know, it's our event in that we host it, but really without all those people, it wouldn't be possible. So it makes the day real enjoyable to have such a great crew of volunteers and sponsors.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I think, I just don't think that there are enough awesome events in Lebanon County. I'm thrilled to see all these great things to do here. I think the Tour de Gretna is so beautiful. People talk about Mount Gretna. They come from lots of different places to come to Mount Gretna. And just to really have events that show off Lebanon County. I don't think we do enough showing off of Lebanon County. And so I'm really proud of that. And I'm just really excited. You know, the rail trail, when it's done, is going to be 26 miles of trail through what is an absolutely beautiful county. Yeah. And I'm just really excited to see more of that. I mean, that's really what the Health Council is all about. That's really what the Conservancy is all about. Certainly that's what the rail trail is all about. People who love to ride bike, that's what they want. Places to ride, awesome places to see. So,
to your point earlier about coming for the whole weekend, you know, this year we're going to again expand the Tour de Gretna to be a two-day, three-stage race, so people can roll in Friday night, spend the whole weekend. There's stuff to do with the whole family.
Yeah.
And we will again host the Pennsylvania State Masters Road Race Championship as one of the stages, probably on Saturday. And then on Sunday morning will be the Pennsylvania State Masters Time Trial Championship. It'll probably be a 20K. And then we'll probably add one other event to make 3 stages. We've been talking about Elizabethtown as possibly hosting the Criterium on Sunday afternoon and showcasing all the great businesses they have in that community. And I'm looking at something you got over there, John. What is that? Can you look at that poster board? That looks pretty cool.
That's for our event coming up.
This was one of the posters Lauri made last year.
Yeah, we used it to really talk about, you know, we get lots of different kinds of funders to the park. So we were able, WellSpan has already currently donated money for the fitness stations. When the park goes in, we have WellSpan money to do that. Lebanon Valley Rail Trail does a lot of their own contributions and fundraising. We've gotten some other grants. So this kind of talks about the different grants and how each of these played a part in what's going on.
With the milk bottle
With
theme.
the milk bottle theme, of course, to
That's
bring
that's
in.
an old school. How old is
So-
that? I looked it in. Old school.
That one,
Oh, yeah, Wengert.
that's
Yep.
like
I get
late 40s.
Late 40s.
Yeah,
Wow.
cream top.
And I love that sign. Let's take a look at that.
That's a recycled sign.
Talk about the pollination area.
I know, yeah. We had an event around bees once, so this is it was an old event that we had.
Very
Yes,
nice.
Yes.
Very cool. Thanks for joining in, everybody, and hope to see you at the Tower to Town run on October 6th.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Right on.